Imagine standing at the edge of oblivion, where every heartbeat is a countdown, and nature's fury is poised to rewrite history. I'm not just telling you a story, I'm inviting you to experience the terror and mystery that unfolded in November 1985 in a small Colombian town called Armero. In the next several minutes, you and I will journey through a catastrophe that claimed over 23,000 lives, a disaster where every moment felt like a cliffhanger. Stay with me, because what you're about to witness challenges everything you know about warning signs, human error, and the unstoppable force of nature. Picture this: a peaceful town nestled in the heart of Colombia, known as the White City for its booming rice and cotton production. Armero was built upon an expansive alluvial fan, a seemingly fertile land where life moved at a steady, predictable pace. I want you to step into the shoes of a local farmer, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, the comfort of routine, and the unspoken belief that nature was an ally, not an adversary. In December 1984, subtle hints began to surface. Scientists noted unusual seismic tremors and steam emissions from the towering Nevado del Ruiz. It was as if the volcano was trying to send a message, a cryptic Morse code of warnings that most dismissed as everyday geological noise. The residents of Armero, used to minor quivers and distant rumbles, continued their daily lives, unaware that these signals were the calm before a life-altering storm. I ask you, have you ever ignored a whisper in the wind, only to later wish you had listened? Fast forward to September 1985, a turning point where the Earth's uneasy murmur became a shattering roar. A large phreatic eruption sent a massive plume of steam high into the sky, a dramatic precursor that should have ignited alarm bells. Imagine being a local official at that moment, your gut churning with dread as you witness nature's power in real time. I'm speaking directly to you now. Imagine the cold sweat and the racing thoughts as you wonder, is this the moment everything changes? By this time, scientists had detected a marked increase in volcanic activity. A report by an Italian volcanology team issued on October 22nd hammered home a grim prediction, a 67% chance that a catastrophic eruption was imminent. Yet bureaucratic chaos reigned. Crucial warnings were either miscommunicated or lost in translation. Hazard maps were hastily printed in newspapers, but errors in scale and cut-off edges rendered them nearly useless. Even trusted publications in Bogotá were marred by glaring inaccuracies. As you listen, I want you to feel the rising tension, a blend of disbelief and mounting horror that something was terribly wrong. Now brace yourself as we step into the fateful day itself. At approximately 3 in the afternoon on November 13, 1985, an eerie calm hung over Armero. The volcano, Nevado del Ruiz, began to belch ash into a sky that was rapidly darkening. Local civil defense teams initiated protocols that, in hindsight, seemed woefully inadequate. They instructed residents to remain indoors, reassuring them that the situation was under control. But beneath this veneer of routine lay an imminent and unspeakable terror. As the hours wore on, a deceptive lull allowed normality to persist. Around 5 p.m., seismic activity continued, quietly, almost gently, masking the monstrous force that was gathering momentum. Picture yourself in that moment. The air thick with an unsettling stillness, as if nature itself were holding its breath. Then, just as the day began to settle into an eerie twilight, a deep rumble emerged around 9:45 p.m. It was the sound of destiny unfurling, a sound that signaled the eruption of a nightmare. The mountain roared to life. Pyroclastic flows, merging with melted ice and ash, transformed into a deadly lahar, a raging torrent of mud, water, and volcanic debris. This wasn't just any mudslide. It was a force moving at up to 50 kilometers per hour, a tidal wave of destruction that would spare nothing in its path. I want you to feel that shock, the same shock that gripped every resident as the lahar surged toward Armero, turning a quiet town into a scene of chaos and despair. Let's pause and examine what makes a lahar so terrifying. Imagine a wall of mud, over 4.5 meters deep in places, laden with sharp fragments of rock, volcanic ash, and debris. This mixture doesn't simply flow, it devours everything in its path. As it thundered down the 11 flank valleys of the mountain, the lahar was relentless, carving through the landscape with the precision of a natural juggernaut. Visualize this: Houses, cars, and even human lives caught in a torrent that felt both random and meticulously destructive. Rescue workers, desperately trying to reach survivors, were thwarted by the rapidly transforming terrain. Roads collapsed beneath the weight of the mud, leaving helicopters as the sole lifeline to those trapped in collapsing structures. In that moment, every second became a battle against time. Every decision a potential lifeline or a final farewell. Numbers can be cold, but behind every statistic is a human story. A life abruptly ended, a family shattered. Approximately 23,000 people lost their lives that night, with another 5,000 injured and 5,000 homes obliterated. One image that continues to haunt the collective memory is that of Amara Sanchez-Gazan, a 13-year-old girl whose trapped expression became a symbol of the unfathomable sorrow that enveloped Armero. I break the fourth wall here to remind you, each number represents a heartbeat, a soul whose light was extinguished far too soon. As rescue efforts began the following day, survivors emerged from the suffocating grip of mud and despair. Yet the scale of devastation was such that the search for life often turned into a somber journey through endless layers of grief and regret. The relentless struggle of relief workers in the face of impassable roads and the overwhelming force of nature is a testament to the indomitable human spirit, even as it reminds us of our fragile mortality. When the lahar finally subsided, the landscape of Armero was forever altered. What once was a vibrant community had transformed into a ghost town, a silent, haunting memorial to a disaster that could have been prevented. The government's delayed response and flawed evacuation plans were met with justified public outrage. Many questioned how a series of miscommunications and missed warnings could lead to such colossal loss. I want you to consider this. Every moment of hesitation, every overlooked warning, became a thread in the tapestry of tragedy. In the months and years following the disaster, the survivors of Armero were relocated to new settlements, but the memory of that dreadful night persisted. The scar of the tragedy was not only etched into the physical terrain, but also deep within the hearts of Colombians. The lessons of Armero rippled through the nation, reshaping policies, disaster management protocols, and the very way communities prepared for nature's unpredictable wrath. Even today, the Armero tragedy invites more questions than answers. How did a warning system in place for a volcano known to be active falter so disastrously? Were there voices of dissent ignored in the corridors of power that foresaw the catastrophe? I'm asking you directly. What would you do if you were in charge and knew that every second counted? This chapter is not only about recounting events, but also about challenging us all to question the systems that failed so many when they needed to work the hardest. There were whispers of negligence, of a government too entangled in political struggles and economic concerns to heed the scientists' warnings. Some even say that the misprinted hazard maps and delayed evacuations were symptomatic of a larger, systemic failure, one that would haunt Colombia for decades to come. Imagine the weight of responsibility borne by those in power and the gut-wrenching consequences when that responsibility is not met. These are the questions that keep the story of Armero alive in the minds of its survivors and historians alike. I want to take a moment to break the fourth wall here. Talk to you as a fellow seeker of truth. When you watch a story like this unfold, it's impossible not to feel a connection to those who suffered. I often find myself wondering, how can we learn from such overwhelming tragedy? The Armero disaster is more than a recounting of events. It's a mirror held up to our collective failures and our persistent hope for redemption. The aftermath of Armero led to significant changes in disaster management across Colombia. Today's advanced seismic monitoring systems, real-time communication networks, and meticulously planned evacuation protocols owe much to the hard lessons learned from that fateful day. I challenge you to think about the cost of complacency and the power of proactive change. If we listen to the echoes of the past, we can forge a future where no warning goes unheeded. As we near the end of our journey together, I invite you to reflect on the enduring legacy of the Armero tragedy. This isn't just a tale of nature's might or governmental oversight. It's a story of human resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The memory of Armero serves as a constant reminder that our preparedness for disasters is a matter of life and death. Today, The ghostly remnants of Armero lie silent, a stark landscape reclaimed by nature and time. The abandoned streets and crumbling homes stand as monuments to lives lost, echoing a profound message. Every disaster leaves behind lessons that we must never ignore. I speak to you not only as a narrator, but as someone who believes that understanding the past is essential to safeguarding our future. Every technological advance, every refined emergency protocol is a step toward ensuring that the horror of Armero is never repeated. Chapter 10: Final Reflections and a Call to Action. Now, as I conclude our exploration of one of the deadliest volcanic disasters of the 20th century, let me leave you with a personal appeal. This is not just history. It's a call to action. I urge you to remember that every minute counts when nature warns us of its fury. Think of the 23,000 souls of Armero, of the families torn apart, and of a nation forever altered by a series of missed signals and delayed responses. Take a moment to reflect on the incredible resilience of the human spirit and the need for relentless vigilance. I'm here, speaking directly to you, urging you to question, to learn, and to ensure that future generations are better prepared. It's our responsibility to honor the past by forging a future where warnings are heeded and lives are protected. In every quiet moment, nature is whispering its secrets, if only we choose to listen. Picture the ghost town of Armero today, a landscape of silence, its once bustling community now swallowed by layers of mud and memory. Walking through its remnants, you would feel the weight of history in every shattered wall and overgrown street. The tragedy of Armero is not confined to history books. It lives on as a chilling reminder that the balance between human progress and nature's unpredictability is fragile at best. As I sign off, I invite you to delve deeper into the stories of natural disasters, to learn about the science behind these cataclysms, to never take the warning signs for granted. Share your thoughts, your questions, and let the lessons of Armero inspire us all to build a safer, more resilient future. This documentary script is a journey into the heart of the Armero tragedy, a saga of warning, loss, and ultimately, the strength of human perseverance. I hope that through this narrative, you not only grasp the magnitude of what happened, but also feel the urgency to ensure that history does not repeat itself. Thank you for joining me on this emotional and eye-opening exploration. Please consider like and subscribe for compelling documentary. This is Freak Files, channel that brings dark history and horror story to life via documentary. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, every moment counts when facing the forces of nature.